Broadcasting from the KC Coyote Studios, you're listening to Kearney Live on 102.7 KPGZ. Kearney Live is presented by Kearney Trust Company. Kearney Trust, 310 West 92 Highway in Kearney. The phone number is 816-628-6666. And now here's the hosts of Kearney Live, Mike Davis and Jim Dickerson.
And welcome to Kearney Live. I'm your host, Mike Davis, along with Jim Dickerson and producer-engineer Brian Watts, who is running the board right now for this wonderful program. And we have a wonderful special guest with us today in studio.
Thank you very much, Mike. I couldn't wait.
That is not the one I was thinking of. Mr. Beau Brinkley is with us. He is one of Kearney's favorite sons, not just the one and only. So there are several, but I would say you're among the top 2 or 3, Beau. Welcome to the show.
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. And I don't even know if I'm in the top 10, to be honest.
Well,
there's a lot of good people that came out of here, sports, athletics, people in general.
No doubt about it. In fact, you played at Mizzou with a couple of Kearney graduates, didn't you? Or did you just cross over? Did you play at the same time? I'm thinking of a couple of them whose names escape me right now.
No, yeah, I actually played with 2, Tommy Saunders and Brock Christopher, both
that was it.
Stud athletes from Kearney,
yes.
who kind of set the standard.
Yes,
as far as Division I, which I was happy to follow both of them to Mizzou.
Right, you followed them to Mizzou, and you were a walk-on at Mizzou. Now, did anybody come and look at you? I mean, I'm looking at you right now. You're gigantic. I would imagine you had the size as a senior in high school that somebody would have at least said, I think this guy could be a tight end or something. I mean, he could stand, or maybe a defensive end and stand up in front of somebody and knock some balls down. Were people looking at you in D1?
I actually, no, not really. Let's just say that. But I know that Andy Hill, Coach Hill with the Tigers, he's still with the Tigers now. Mm-hmm. And I know he came to one game, and I never saw him after. I just know that Coach Jones at the time told me that he was coming, or some reason. I don't think I had a very good game.
Oh man, don't you?
And was he coming to watch you?
You know what? I don't know. He never, Coach Jones and Coach Gray were good about telling people. I know they still are to this day. Like, not anybody's coming special or something. Might mention to it after, but no, I didn't know he was coming. And yeah, that was probably one of my worst games that year. So that was cool.
Yeah,
that's always good.
That's exactly. Probably, yeah. That game probably cost me a scholarship.
Possibly. Well, that was during the Pinkle years then, Gary Pinkle.
Oh yeah, Coach Pinkle, loved that guy.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, and boy, did he leave his mark on that program, the University of Missouri.
Oh yeah, he was an outstanding person, outstanding leader. I can't say enough good things about the guy.
Well, I want to focus a little bit on the city of Kearney, but before we do, and since we're talking about Gary Pinkle and the Missouri Tigers, Gary Pinkle is one of those guys that we often hear coaches referred to as a player's coach. And, as a fan, it makes you wonder what's the definition of that, and how do you define a player's coach from the standpoint of actually being that player, the guy in the locker room, and and then the media says, yeah, we know Gary Pinkle's a player's coach, and I'm going, what the heck does that mean?
Well, I'm sure a lot of different players have different, outcomes or definitions of a player's coach. But to me, it's someone that's familiar with the players and is not totally lenient on us, but like he's a little more giving and I guess in aspects of, making us do things like for conditioning wise, doing things differently rather than just running the traditional down and back and doing things like that. And maybe, some coaches have rules about music in the locker room and stuff. And I see players, coaches as kind of giving a little more leeway to the players.
I see. As
far as giving them a little bit more responsibility, but it's not one of those things that just happens by chance. I mean, obviously you have to earn it. And Coach Pinkle was good about that, whether it was, not having to run a little extra on our conditioning test or things of that sort. And I think that's all coaches for me in general. It's just, you got to earn everything. Right. Those players, coaches that people hear about, to me, like you have to earn the right to, think that that's a player's coach.
Well, and speaking of earning, just back up a little bit. You actually, and you kind of briefly said it, you didn't get a scholarship to MU. You actually had to earn your way onto the team.
Oh, I had to earn my athletic way onto the team, and I had to earn my academic way into the school.
Wow.
We had a lot of people that were really smart in the class of 2008 at Kearney. Just to let everybody know, I wasn't dumb. There was just a lot of smart people.
Glad I wasn't in that class.
Well, we've heard about the educational system here in Kearney, and that would explain part of the reason why, I suppose. There's a lot of smart kids here, no doubt about that. Well, I'm interested to hear how you sort of got your act together in such a manner that you walked on at Columbia there at the University of Missouri, and to the extent that you said, hey, they didn't call me, but guess what? I'm going to go knocking on their door, and I'm going to try out for this team. How does that work? Tell us about that.
Well, I think one of my biggest influencers at that time, as far as, believing in myself to be able to walk on, was Tommy Saunders.
Mm-hmm.
That guy, had more passion, more just grit to do what he wanted to do and do, to this day. So, that guy, he won't back down from a challenge. He's always up for it. And he kind of engraved that into me that summer before we reported for I guess it's not spring ball, but training camp, basically, in the sense at Mizzou. And I actually lived with Tommy that first summer before moving into the dorms. But yeah, that guy, I didn't play baseball my senior year. I did powerlifting, which I thought would get me ready for, Mizzou.
Right.
Because that's what I ultimately wanted to do. I had, a couple scholarships here and there from some D2 schools, but I don't know. I felt like I really wanted to play at Missouri. I loved it. My family all loved Mizzou. We were just all about it. And then Tommy and Brock, that was kind of the icing on the cake, seeing them go there.
Yeah.
And just wanting to be a part of, what those guys, the success they had at Kearney and success they had there. And I don't know, I longed for that. And after being around Tommy for that long, I started to believe it, like that I could play.
Yeah.
And, I just remember workouts with Tommy that summer. We were in here back in Kearney, and Tommy used to get us up at a text or a phone call at 11 o'clock at night, and we'd be down there at the stadium there running half gassers or 110-yard sprints or something like that.
Right.
I remember one night, it was actually crazy. It was probably about 12:30 in the morning, and it was me, Tommy, Tony Temple, and maybe one other guy. I can't remember. Maybe it was either Matt Massey or John Hinchy. Could have been both of them. But we were all down there running, and it was a thunderstorm. And, I just remember I think we ran probably 31 or 32 110-yard sprints that night.
Wow.
With the lightning and everything going back. It was unreal. I was scared for my life, but after, I think I got runner's high that day.
Yes.
That was probably the second time in my life, but I don't know, it was just a surreal experience that we were just out there at 12:30 in the morning, no business being out there, just trying to get better. And that's all Tommy was.
Right.
That's all he was about. That guy, even when I played with him for a year at Mizzou, and we'd get up in the summer and go run stadiums at 1:30 in the morning. I kind of regret living with Tommy that summer.
I'm
But
exhausted just
I
thinking
am
about
too.
it.
I know. That's
you
impressive.
want to talk about work ethic? That dude
Right.
has some mean work ethic.
Right.
Always has.
Right. Well, he's a natural athlete.
Oh.
No getting around
Oh,
that.
he's worked a lot. Yeah. He's natural too, but that kid's worked a lot for what he's gotten. So Brock's the same way.
So then you just at that point. It sounds like you more ran on than walked on at Mizzou. And how does that work? Then do you make a phone call to a coach, or does a guy like Tommy sort of lay the groundwork for you and say, you know what, I got a guy here that we think he could be pretty good and he ought to be a good part of this team?
I think Tommy was kind of my main recruiter. So I think he was kind of talking to Coach Hill for me and kind of getting me. And I don't know if he was talking about Beau can play tight end or long snap or whatever. I didn't really know anything about long snap. I just did it. But I didn't know. Actually, when I got to Mizzou, ended up doing it. It actually got me on the field faster. I didn't redshirt.
Right.
So it got me to play. And obviously that was an awesome goal because, when you get there, and like we were talking about earlier, it was so surreal that It's not, Coach, I want to play tight end. It's, you know what? I'll play wherever you want me to. I'm at the University of Missouri.
Yes.
Like that's all it's about.
Yes.
I mean, so if they wanted me to do something else, I'd have done it. Like if you want, jump, how high?
You bet.
That's what it is. And Tommy once again was just so great about that. And I ended up like long snapping that first year, and it was awesome because on field goals, I got to snap to Tommy. Tommy was the holder.
I didn't realize
So
that.
yeah.
Okay.
So
yeah.
it was unreal. Mm-hmm. It was such a surreal experience, and just very grateful to be a part of that. But if you really want to hear a story, you should hear how I got academically accepted into Missouri.
I would love to hear about that.
Please do tell. Yes.
All right. So I wasn't the dumbest kid in class, I promise. I have some of the smart people who will vouch for me. They're very smart. But I didn't have the class rank to get into Missouri.
I see.
That's what kind of got me.
Mm-hmm.
I think my GPA was like a 3.3 or something, which is not the best, but
pretty good.
It's not bad, though.
Yeah, I'll take it. I'm not complaining, but the class rank is, I think, what's got me. So I had to go and I had to take pre-calc 101 or something, and I had to take English 101. I had to take 2 classes that summer to get accepted into the fall semester. And I had to get C, like 75% C's on both of those. I got a C on one and a C plus on the other.
Nailed
Just barely
it.
skating in, baby.
Well, the English 101 probably wouldn't be that bad. The calc.
The calculus.
Pre-calc.
That'd be
it
a
was
killer.
awful.
Yeah.
I'm not good with numbers. I mean, and especially when you start throwing letters in there too. That's like a whirlwind of danger.
Then you have to go back to the English part.
Oh yeah,
The letters are supposed to be over there.
Yeah, it was hard. And the ACT. So what was kind of funny is, so I think the ACT was kind of where I struggled too. And I'm not going to say that score, but it's in the 20s. So we'll just say that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even remember what. I don't even know what a good ACT score is.
If it's in the high 20s, it's very good.
Is it?
Yeah.
I think I was like a 12.
Yeah.
Something like that. I may have broke 13.
It's all right. They told me you get 20 points for putting your name on it, but I didn't believe them. So.
Well, so it sounds like
that's why I didn't get 20.
Even as what I would say I would call you an average student and maybe slightly above average. Even with that, by not having the class rank, that was a little bit of a hurdle then to overcome, right?
Yeah, and I think the school system and everything. I'm more of a hands-on learner. I like to see things and work it out with my hands if I can. Manual labor is what I love.
Sure.
So, but it's going back to that summer. Trying to get in, I tried before even going to the classes and figuring that out. I had to get some 20 score on an ACT, and I just remember my dad driving me and him driving to Columbia like 4 or 5 times that summer to take the ACT in Columbia. It was not good. It wasn't one of my proudest moments in my life, but I wanted to share that with everybody so you could get a good kick out of it. You're welcome.
But did you have to keep taking it then?
Oh yeah, because I didn't. I had to hit this certain score.
But there's no limit.
I didn't think so. If there was, I would have broke it because I don't know how many times I took that stupid test. No offense to anybody listening who's in education, but it was hard.
Now, your dad, Mike Brinkley, was an All-American defensive end and long snapper at Missouri Valley College.
Yeah. And so was his older brother, Bob.
I see that here, yes. And it also they're telling me here that your football idol growing up here in Kansas City was the Kansas City Chiefs long snapper, Kendall Gammon.
Oh, yeah.
Who we hear on the radio now.
Love Kendall.
Yeah.
I actually got to meet him 3 years ago. He actually came down to the Titans facilities and actually he was buddies with one of our special teams coach and then kind of our head coach a little bit. But I got to talk. I took a picture with him. It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was really cool. It was a surreal moment. And, I mean, him and Dallas Clark were kind of the two guys, long snapping and tight end. Dallas Clark from the Colts back then was my favorite tight end, player. And then Kendall was, the other side. But Kendall obviously more because he was for the hometown team.
Yes.
So, yeah, that was pretty awesome.
Did he have any tips for you?
Yes, but they're mine now.
I understand.
Have them.
It's a secret.
Well, so how does it feel because it's kind of funny because here you are standing with a guy that an idol of yours or a guy you look up to, I guess. But at the same time, I'm sure there's times after games or whatever the case may be, that you there's kids that come take pictures with you that look up to you. So how does it feel to be in that position? Or do you even realize it at the time? Or
I mean, I try not to look at it like that. I don't know. I'm a kid from Kearney. That's all I'll ever be at heart. I mean, if people want to come take pictures, that's fine. Most people don't. I'd rather you come up and say hi and we have a conversation.
right.
I don't mind it. People coming up, hey, can I get a picture? It doesn't happen as often as you think, believe it. Like, it doesn't, which I enjoy. I'd rather have a conversation with somebody and try to instill something as far as my words rather than just a picture.
Right.
So, I mean, if anybody sees me and wants to just have a conversation, come say hi. We'll shoot it around.
Cool.
We're visiting with Beau Brinkley, number 48 of the Tennessee Titans. He's the long snapper for the Tennessee Titans. And I also know there's another sport that you're pretty good at, golf. And
okay.
You have, in your history, at least one hole-in-one on a par 3, I believe.
Yes.
And tell me about that.
I was actually at a sports not banquet, I guess a sports thing in Nashville. And I came up to the 8th hole, and there was a liquor tent there. And I'm not going to specify, but I did take a shot of a certain whiskey before, and it was kind of, it was a scramble, so we had 4 players that were all teeing off. We're all on the same team, so I was the last one. I don't know why, but we were just all kind of messing around, and we talked about, hey, if we all, somebody hits a hole-in-one, we'll share the bottles. So I was like, oh, sure, yeah. And back in my mind, I'm like, no, I'm going to keep it all. But it ended up coming up to me, and I was just like, okay, I want to hit this shot. And I kid you not, it was probably the luckiest shot I've ever hit. It was right where I wanted. It had this little baby cut on it, and the hole was hidden. It was right over a mount. I could see the flagstick, but not the hole. And it landed right short of it. And I was like, oh, that's going to be close. Like, not thinking that I'd ever hit one or anything like that.
Who does?
So one of the girls that was there for the liquor tent, one of my buddies like, hey, that's close, because they didn't have anybody up there watching it. So that buddy was like, hey, why don't you get in the cart and make sure to go up here just to check, just to make sure, if it is in, so we have a witness. Because like insurance purposes, you have to have a witness and everything. So we drove up there, and I didn't see it on the greens. I was like, crap. It's probably in the rough line. And there was water kind of left, and the green kind of sloped down to the water. So I'm like, maybe it rolled off. I don't know. So we rode up there. I immediately go to the back of the green, looking through the rough, because the rough was pretty tall. And I was like, probably lost a ball in here. And we couldn't find it in the rough. All 3 of my other teammates were all around. Nobody went up to the cup or anything. They'd see me play earlier that day.
There?
Yeah, exactly. They'd see me play earlier that day. They knew what was going on. They knew everything. So
there's a guy out there in the water snorkeling looking for it.
I found your ball. But so I was like, okay, I can't find it. Well, there's a slim chance. So I went in or whatever. So kind of walked up to the hole, and instead of just like walking up and looking down, I kind of did the old creep thing, just kind of creeped in and looked over and kind of get that one eye and just saw the side of that white ball and went ballistic.
Nice.
It was unreal. And the lady, the liquor tent lady, she couldn't believe it. We were all hooping and hollering, hugging. We tackled each other. It was unreal. It was sweet. And it ended up being, I can say this now, there's a Jack Daniel's single barrel of whiskey, which came out to 244 bottles of single barrel Jack.
Right. Wow. My press release here says a barrel of Jack Daniel's Tennessee whiskey. We're not talking about one of those glass bottles that looks like a barrel. We're talking about
a barrel.
We're talking about the barrels that sits in the barrel house for 7 years and matures. Yeah, it was. It's great. And it was amazing. So I got to go to the distillery with my 3 teammates, and we got to sit down with the master distiller, which so happened to be lucky number 7, the 7th distiller of the Jack Daniel's distillery. So that was insane. I mean, usually it takes like 40 minutes the tasting for which barrel you have, but we were in there for 3.5 hours.
Oh gosh.
We were talking football, and so they'll bring in 3 different barrels and have you taste test 3 different barrels, and then you get to pick and choose which one you like the most, and then they'll empty the barrel and bottle them all for you.
Outstanding. We're visiting today with Beau Brinkley. He is the Tennessee Titans deep snapper, and you're listening to Kearney Live. Stay with us for this short message.
Kearney Trust Company is uniquely Kearney. They opened their doors in 1882 and have been financing goals and dreams ever since. Kearney Trust has a team of experienced lenders and a qualified staff to assist you with all of your financial needs. Your success is their priority. Whether you're looking for traditional checking and savings services, or you need cash management, mobile banking, mortgage, or lending services, Kearney Trust will provide you and your business with the resources you need to succeed. Information, speed, and convenience are all valuable commodities in our fast-paced world. For Kearney Trust Company, technology is an addition to, not a replacement for the personal banking relationship they like to have with their customers. The people of Kearney Trust Company focus on and try to fit the needs of all their customers. Kearney Trust Company is your partner for success with 2 convenient locations in Kearney at 310 West 92 Highway and 701 Watson Drive in Price Chopper. The phone number is 816-628-6666. Kearney Trust Company. Banking you can trust. Member FDIC.
And we're back on Kearney Live. We have Beau Brinkley in studio with us today. He's number 48, the long snapper for the Tennessee Titans. And we're talking today about some of your football history with both the University of Missouri as a Mizzou Tiger and certainly the Kearney Bulldogs. I got to ask you right now, do you have a specific memory, 1 or 2 things that you can think of that as you were a Kearney Bulldog football player that you look back on fondly and just say, you know what, that was a fun night and I would love to relive that?
Probably not the night the scout was there.
No, definitely not that night. It was just the whole experience of high school football.
Yes.
Obviously, I played college football at the highest level football in the NFL, but there's one thing that you can never take away, and that's Friday Night Lights.
Right.
There's something about it that just makes it so surreal. Just being out there with the buddies you grew up with, everybody from your hometown you played sports with growing up, that whole time, and there's nothing better than Friday Night Football.
No doubt about that. We mentioned that we do the home broadcast. Jim Dickerson right here is the voice of the Kearney Bulldogs, and
he makes it sound
do the color play-by-play commentary. And Brian sits in the booth with us and makes sure that we're actually broadcasting out over the air, and we just have a ball.
And so, just like you watched Kendall Gammon. Al Michaels, a good friend of mine. And,
oh, nice.
I'm just kidding. I've never met the guy in my life.
Sweet.
Well, what you said about the magic of Friday nights is absolutely true. And, I mean, we're up there in the broadcast booth, really, I guess, in a way, performing a job. I mean, it's a task at hand, but we just love it. And we've listened to rebroadcasts, and we can hear the sound of fun being had. Okay. I mean, there is no doubt about it. We just look forward to it, even as a bystander, as a journalist, to watch the kids play and to watch the coaching staff do what they do, and 2 teams that from across the city to meet each other, and to see who's going to win that night.
Town's closed down.
I was going to say the whole town comes to a stop. It all goes to the stadium.
There's nothing like. I mean, you see so much separation in this world, but I think at Kearney, football, the town closes down. Everybody's there.
It absolutely
and that's
does.
something that's special and something you don't get a lot of other places. And I think that's what makes this place really special.
Yeah, there are a lot of things very, very special about Kearney.
Was it difficult? So, and MU's different, I know now, but they used to always only play like Saturday afternoon. And some of those games used to start at noon?
11.
This was
11 o'clock.
So it's got to be weird playing at 11 in the morning. When I would prefer playing at night, I would think.
We actually liked playing the early games.
Really?
Just because there was, it's bad, but after the game, there was more time to, like, you know, if you wanted to go eat with your family that came in town, like, or do like that.
Yeah.
And like a win, it was awesome because then you could, you know, have fun, maybe go out to the bars or something. But I mean, after a night game, like the worst case is playing a night game and losing. Because then you got to come in extra early the next morning, watch tape and everything. Ugh. But we always like the early games just because, I mean, once you get up that morning at 6 o'clock or whatever time you get up, you're up. I mean, it's game day. You're ready. You're zoned in. Right. Those longer waiting times too, like waiting the whole day, sitting there, you know, overthinking stuff at some point. Like you just got such a long way. And that's what it's like now. Like I love noon games. Noon games are awesome. Like, I mean, you get up and you go play football. Like, what are these, you know, primetime games and stuff? Right. And then, like, the media builds it up so much, too, so that you're sitting in your hotel room all day, and it's like, all right, I'm ready to go play now. Let's go play. I'm kind of getting antsy. Then you take a nap, and then sometimes you wake up, you're all groggy. Oh, it's like, gosh. Okay. But, yeah, I love the early games.
So are the Sunday night games and the Monday night games worse because it just prolongs it that much further?
Well, not really. Monday night games, amazing, just because it's Monday Night Football.
Right.
And, yeah, I love that. You can't argue with that. Sunday night, I think I've only played Sunday night maybe once or twice in my career, so that's a special thing too. I mean, actually in the league, like it's a little different because we don't really, because like I guess it was, I don't know, yeah, because we had to come out Sundays, but it was a little different just because the whole media and stuff, but college, it was nice to.
Do you think the Thursday night thing kind of takes away from it? I know that it's kind of like it kind of caught on, but it didn't catch on, and now it kind of caught on again, and it goes back and forth.
I think it depends on who's playing.
Right, it's not near as big, obviously, as Monday night.
The only thing about Thursdays is it makes
for a short week.
Yeah, because if you play on Sunday and then come in and play on Thursday, I mean, that's a bone chill. I mean, for the coaches, for the players, you know, the coaches who have to, you know, prep for everything, get the players ready, and then the players who just came off a game got to basically shut down their motor from that game, restarted it the next morning for the next game. And I mean, yeah, it's pretty hard. It's definitely physically taxing, but it's also emotionally because you're trying to switch gears. I mean, you got to know your teammates or know your opponent. I mean, so that's the biggest thing.
How do you? I can't remember. So let's do a standard week, a Sunday. So you play Sunday, and then are you off Monday, or do you come in and you do tapes?
We'll come in Monday and do like a flush workout, something that kind of gets us moving, get the soreness out a little bit, and we'll watch tape after that, and then we're kind of done after that. You know, usually about 2 o'clock, and then we get Tuesdays off, and then Wednesday we'll come in. That's a big day. We'll start it, have usually a team meeting at probably about 7 or 7:15 or something like that. And then we'll get out of there about 4:30. And then Thursday's the same thing. Friday's a little shorter, just because it's kind of, you know, we're kind of dress rehearsal on Fridays, and then Saturday's kind of just your walkthrough, shorter days.
Is that normally too like a travel day if you?
Yeah. So Saturday's kind of a travel
away,
day. Yeah, we'll have a walk during the morning and stuff, and then we'll travel usually around noon to go wherever. And we try to, you know, show up wherever we're going to be at a certain time. Like usually, I think last year we tried to be wherever we were going to play by 4, just so we'd have enough time to like go eat if we wanted to go eat with our, you know, some of our teammates, or if we had family in town, we'd have enough time before like chapel and team meeting would start later that night. So.
Now, you had a playoff game right here in Kansas City against the Chiefs in 2018.
We did, and I'm actually, this is kind of funny, but I'm actually wearing a sweet shirt. If you can read that, you can read it on there.
Never ignore the wild card.
Where's the wild card?
Well, you know, we thank you for winning. And
it was 2 years ago. We're good.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't even mean to wear this shirt, just to be honest.
No.
I like the way you did.
It was somewhat heartbreaking, just, you know, but we're used to it around here.
What was it, 22-21? I think that was the final score.
I know. Well, it's interesting, though, that you know, here you are coming back to your hometown, and, you're obviously playing at a game that matters. In fact, I think you ended up playing at New England, right? You had to travel to New England.
Oh, yeah, we went to New England.
Right, after beating the Chiefs. But what did it feel like to come to your hometown and know you're going to be around all your friends and family and everybody around here is pulling for the Chiefs, and you come in here and you hand it to them?
Well, I mean, first off, we have like a group chat with all my friends from here and college and stuff. And I hate that week because they just blow up my phone, everything. Yeah. Brock Christopher does a great Mitch Holtis impression. So he'll record something on his phone and send it to me. He's done that plenty of times. And I just don't say anything. Right. Just try to be quiet, just whatever, bounce off. It's not going to get to me. Yeah. And then I always love playing here. Yeah. It's not very far away. I grew up watching them. Sure. It's unreal. So I always love when we play them. I mean, that was the first, that was actually the Chiefs was my first playoff game ever.
Wow.
Yeah. And what year was that again? That was
two seasons ago.
So, but it was in January of 2018, right? Was that?
Yes, January 2018.
Because we go to the playoffs a lot. We don't play in the playoffs that often because we're usually out and about the first game.
The curse. Didn't the curse break this year?
It did.
We broke
1993.
We almost went to the Super Bowl if it weren't for a little bit of lining up offside, but that's no big deal. It happens from time to time.
Oh, so Beau, when you walked into Arrowhead as a player and you actually got to come out on the field, and clearly you're on the other team, but still, I can't imagine. I mean, I know everybody knows it's electrifying in Arrowhead Stadium, and it's loud. But I mean, how does it feel as an opponent to come into a stadium like that?
Well, it definitely makes you want to be a Chiefs fan because those people are rowdy.
Oh yeah,
it's unreal. After that playoff game, because there's some Kearney people that'll come down or whatever. There's some people that know of Kearney because they usually pregame warm-ups whenever special teams goes out there.
Right.
They usually say hometown guy, and they'll show me up on from Kearney. And then I usually go around. Well, after that playoff game, I was walking around close to our tunnel, and this little kid had his hand out. And I went up to high five him, and he pulled it away, and he had a water in his other hand and splashed it all over me. I go, dude, I'm from Kearney. He just kind of looked at me and ran away.
Oh,
and it was,
my God.
I was just like, dang, these fans are rowdy. You see it. I mean, it's hard to believe you're a Chiefs fan. So you go to Arrowhead, it's rowdy. Yes. Imagine being on the other side.
That's brutal.
Ooh.
Yeah. No,
I don't think I'd want to do it.
No, it's not. Even
I'd
my
want to be out
parents
in the middle of the field where no one could get to me.
My parents even get heckled at Chiefs whenever we go play. Yeah. And then I think my mom kind of gets riled up. He's from Kearney. We're from Kearney. We're from here. Come on.
And there's probably people going, I don't know where Kearney is.
Yeah, I'm sure there is. Yeah. But of course, my parents are they're sporting blue and the jersey and everything.
Sure.
But there's always.
I've wondered about that because they the TV guys always have the ability to pick out parents and whatnot, and they'll show them no matter what team it is.
Right.
They'll show the parents and they'll go, there's so and so's parents, and there's a sea of red, and then whatever visiting
two
jersey,
little blue dots,
and you're kind of like, man. That I think the first thing I would do is go introduce myself to everybody around me and say, hey, just so you know, he's from, just to kind of explain it.
Right.
Because they get pretty violent out there.
Yeah. I mean, luckily my parents haven't gone through anything like that, but I mean, we got a pretty good little roll in with the family and friends that all kind of buy seats together. So we're rolling pretty deep when it comes to the posse.
It's got a military group out there. So let me ask you this: when you start, I mean, when a game like that, you're all pumped up and all. How long does it take to come back down to get the nerves out? And it may take you a little longer because you're not in on the first, right out of it. Then play.
It's a little different for me. In college when I play a little tight end here and there, I'd listen to Leonard Skinner and all these crazy rock bands before and get pumped up. I can't do that now. It's more I feel like if I get too amped up, I mean, I don't perform very well. I get too on edge, and you can't do that at what I do. It's so finesse and everything. So I've kind of changed my routine over the years, and now I just sit back. I'll tell jokes. I mean, I'm just the most lax guy in the locker room for a game. I just feel like if I think too much about it, or I'm focused, but if I kind of overthink things, I don't perform at my best. So I try to just lighten the air. And I think that's the kind of thing that Brett, our punter Brett, and then Suck Up, kind of all do. We all kind of keep each other in check, trying to make sure, we're not so tight,
Right.
We're relaxed, having fun, telling jokes, doing a bunch of that. So that's kind of how I've kind of changed my outlook over the years.
Right.
Yeah, because there's a definite timing between the three of you guys. Everything has to work bing, bing, bing. And if you're all amped up and chucking the ball clear over someone's head or whatever the case may be.
A lot of moving parts in that transaction there of that football, and getting it to the holder, and then the holder holding it for the kicker. And when you think about it, it looks like it's a field goal.
Yeah, everybody's like,
inside
this is
the
a
30.
no-brainer.
Right.
That reminded me of something. Didn't what was it, the year before that playoff game, or 2 years before the playoff game? Ryan hit that game winner. What was that? What was the year? It was 0 degrees. 2017.
You got me on that one.
Yeah.
I don't
You
know.
stumped
You guys
us.
don't remember that?
No.
We try to put these things out of our
Ryan
mind.
hit that 52-yarder in 0-degree weather. Andy Reid called timeout. He missed that first.
Oh, that's right. Yes, I do
And
remember
then-
that now.
Yeah, and then
that's-
Ryan came back and we went the game winner. That was awesome. Just wanted to, you reminded me of the whole
It's one of
system.
those things you try to put out of your
Right.
mind.
Yeah,
Right.
gosh.
Another.
Some of my funnest victories have been against Kansas City,
I
which makes
don't-
it even
I
that
don't
much
doubt
better.
it.
Yeah.
Don't doubt it
We
at all.
feel our pain. So, but you're starting your 8th year. We mentioned a little earlier, right? At Tennessee.
It goes quick,
Time
doesn't it?
flies.
It is
Yeah.
hard to believe. Yeah.
Flies.
And one day you were a Kearney Bulldog, and now you're a Tennessee Titan. I mean, that's amazing. And now you're not just a deep snapper. You are playing on special teams as well as. What would your position be on special teams, on kickoffs and so forth?
Well, I'm kind of on kickoff and kickoff return, all that stuff. I'm like the emergency backup. So, like, if 10 people got hurt, then I would go in. So
I
and
guess.
I
So
would
you're
never wish
saying
that.
there's a chance.
But it's I would love to go in, don't get me wrong, but the things that have to happen for me to go in, it would not be worth it, because it would be bad for our team.
So do the new kicking rules, and I don't remember, are there new rules next year?
I don't know.
I don't know where
It
that
changes
they
every
changed
year.
it. Yeah, I've lost. I really
Right,
have. I've
yeah.
lost complete track, because I heard at one point they were talking about doing away with it altogether, and everybody's like, "Oh, I don't know about all that." But that AF or whatever that new league was,
Not
that's
going
no
to
long-
play anymore.
And that league's gone now. But I was just watching that
That's a
earlier.
movie. Yeah.
I got to work here now.
Not gonna work here.
What exactly what it is you say you do here?
I'm a people person.
Let's
work with the people.
Let's hold that thought. We got to take a break here. Just a short time out. You're listening to Kearney Live. We're visiting with Beau Brinkley. We'll be right back.
Kearney Trust Company is uniquely Kearney. They opened their doors in 1882 and have been financing goals and dreams ever since. Kearney Trust has a team of experienced lenders and a qualified staff to assist you with all of your financial needs. Your success is their priority. Whether you're looking for traditional checking and savings services, or you need cash management, mobile banking, mortgage, or lending services, Kearney Trust will provide you and your business with the resources you need to succeed. Information, speed, and convenience are all valuable commodities in our fast-paced world. For Kearney Trust Company, technology is an addition to, not a replacement for the personal banking relationship they like to have with their customers. The people of Kearney Trust Company focus on and try to fit the needs of all their customers. Kearney Trust Company is your partner for success with 2 convenient locations in Kearney at 310 West 92 Highway and 701 Watson Drive in Price Chopper. The phone number is 816-628-6666. Kearney Trust Company. Banking you can trust. Member FDIC.
And we're back on Kearney Live, and I wanted to take just a moment to say thank you to the folks over at Kearney Trust Company. They are the sponsors of this very program, and we want to say thank you to Tanya Howes and Scott Middleton, who do so much for the radio station and for the folks around Kearney, Missouri. We're back here visiting with Beau Brinkley here in the studio, our very studio right here in Kearney, Missouri, and right where you came from, Beau. Not exactly, but pretty close.
Not from the studio,
right?
Exactly. But.
Right.
Just a little west of here.
Absolutely right. And it's just a pleasure to have you back here. And as I was looking through these notes, I was noticing Josh Gray's name popped up here, and it said that Kearney's coach, Josh Gray, said that the program takes a lot of pride in winning, but it also takes a lot of pride in the young men it produces. And I assume he was referring to you. Perhaps not.
Yeah. I don't know if it was me, but there's a lot of people that, Coach Gray and when Coach Jones was here, like that you talk about making guys grow up into men and teaching them just, values,
right,
how to act, around women or, to your parents or anything like that. Just overall being a good person. And, that on top of your football things, everything football and work ethic, they were a big influence on me as well.
We've talked about that. So after the game, when we do the post-game interviews and that sort of thing, and I used to do games for how do I say this? Another station, but we do other schools. The players for the Kearney were they were so respectful. The way they handled themselves was it was just different. They were really well. I mean, they were coached well on the field, but when you got and talked to them, they were respectful. They were well versed. I mean, it was just different
to a player. Absolutely,
it was exactly
true.
what you're talking about.
Yep.
They're just good. They just, Coach Gray, I was hanging out with him before this. I'm always, whenever I come home, I always go see him. He's just that big of an influence and that, great of a person that I want to be around him. And I hope he feels the same, but who knows? I might annoy him.
I doubt it.
Oh, well.
That's doubtful.
But he's a great, we've spent some time with him too.
You bet.
Great coach, and the leadership that he gives of his players and everything else, it's really good, really good.
We love having him in studio, and he's just a great guy that we've had a privilege to get to know. You talked a lot about your work ethic, and you had some pretty cool stories about running 110-yard sprints in the rain and lightning, which I don't know if that's advisable. Don't try this at home.
Kids.
Yeah, exactly right.
Well, there's no problem. I don't do that at all.
Yeah, no, I don't have to worry about it.
I've not done that on a dry day.
And you talk about drive, your individual drive, and of course you have to practice, but every day you're playing football or you're preparing to play a football game. And even during the off season, you've got to keep yourself in the tip-top shape, knowing that you're among a handful of people who play football at the highest level. And a guy has to ask, what on earth motivates you day in and day out? You can't tell me that you don't have a day where you wake up and you say, you know what, I think I'd just rather roll over and go back to sleep here.
That's how you get to look like you and me.
Well, I think we're living proof of that, aren't we? Yeah.
That's a great question. I don't think I've ever been asked that before. I would have to say just the challenge. Every day is a grind, and I think, the good Lord put me here to be challenged and overcome obstacles. And I think every day is a challenge. Every day to get better, to want to be better. Is a big difference between getting better to want to be better. But just try to make, my dad always said, the more you do with what you have, the more God will give you to do with. So I try to take everything I have and give it, 110%.
Right.
I know that's kind of used a lot, but I try to really, really ingrain that in myself and just try to, look at myself like, yeah, my parents are proud of me. I could have stopped there.
Right.
The drive is just wanting to succeed so bad and just enjoying the process, if that makes sense. Enjoying working out, enjoying snapping in the off season, enjoying that stuff, it makes the games easier. I like the process of getting better.
Well, I think you're talking about living in the moment, and you're what, 29 years old?
Yeah,
and so that really, for most people, they don't realize that living in the moment is until we're much older.
Until you get to be our age.
Everybody's looking down the road. Everybody's thinking about where they have to be, what they have to do tomorrow, what they're planning to do a year from now, and they have so many things on their plate that you miss what's right in front of you. And I think to have that level of wisdom at age 29 is fairly remarkable.
Well, I mean, yeah, and I mean, I don't think another thing is to like some people ask like, well, isn't the season hard? Isn't football hard? I'm like,
yes,
yeah, it's hard, but it's just like everybody else's job,
right?
I mean, everybody works, and we get 4 months off out of the year. Yeah, sure, but when we're going hard, but stuff. I mean, there's still people still have to work every day. People still have to provide.
Yeah.
So there's no difference.
Yeah.
I don't see a difference in, people that, work 9 to 5s like to my job.
Right.
I just really don't. And I think that same mentality, is kind of engraved in me. My parents, insisted hard work ethic. I mean, anything worth doing good is worth doing right. So, I mean, I've always had that. And if that goes away, I don't know what's going to go on, but
right.
Like, that's how I live my life.
I would doubt that. Yeah, that would go away. Judging from the fact that you have it right now, I would imagine that's something you'll carry through. In fact, obviously the NFL is not a place you can retire from, or if you do, you retire at a very young age, is what I should say. So. Beyond that, do you have plans for anything down the road that you would want to share? Just ideas of things you'd like to do that, even if it's to become a professional golfer.
I think I'm way past that. I think if I'd have done this all over again, I think all of us in this room would probably have tried professional golf first. You could play a lot longer.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I already got banned. I can't go back. There was a golf cart in a lake. It's a whole story. But anyway,
goodness, I'd like to hear that later.
Well, later when we're not here.
Well, in all seriousness,
because people will remember that. I remember that.
Yes,
it happened.
Do you ever think about things that you might want to do?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I just I'd like to coach football.
I'm surprised.
I'd like
at
to
any specific level.
High school.
High school.
Yeah.
Yes, I do not want to do college. They travel way too much. They have to recruit and all that, and I do not think that I could handle the stress of being an NFL coach. I mean, I don't even know if I'm qualified, but I was just saying if I ever got the chance to do that, I would never do it. Just the stress those guys go through day in and day out. Like most of our coaches sleep up at the facilities.
I can't imagine.
It's unreal. Yeah, those guys. God love them. They are,
and they're working now.
Oh yeah.
As we sit here and talk,
now.
they're working on what they're going to do.
Same as college coaches do.
Yeah.
They do all that stuff. But yeah, I'd like to coach high school. I think, like I said about Coach Gray and Coach Jones, they engraved in me to want to help and develop, kids.
Right.
And not just to be, good athletes, but to be good men.
Good citizens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love being around kids and helping kids and, seeing them succeed and seeing them grow and develop and just, be the best version of themselves.
You bet. One of the things Coach Gray talked about on the show, he mentioned the fact that at the high school level, you don't get to recruit. You get what you get. And
it's true. Yeah, he does. He talks about that a lot.
It really, when you think about the level of talent that's there is what you have to work with as a coach. So it really is, the challenge of, taking all of those guys, pulling them all together in the same direction, regardless of the fact that there's going to be, one or two guys that aren't blessed with God-given, almost NFL talent.
Yeah. But and like I said, you can't teach height. You can't teach, you can teach skill, but God-given ability is what you got. But there's one thing, I would take as being a coach is I would have these kids' work ethic be out the charts.
Right.
I mean, that's how I was taught. That's how, Coach Gray continues to do here. But that's the big thing. If you can get a kid to work hard, he'll do anything for you. And that's what goes to the players' coaches.
Right.
That's what goes back to that, being a player's coach. If you can get somebody to work hard, they might not be the best at what they do, but they give you 100% every time. I'll take that kid 100 times out of 100. Just give me the kid that's going to work hard. It's going to be in the weight room. It's going to get up early. who's going to go and work out, get better, bring his buddies.
Right.
You know, hey guys, let's
go.
Be a leader. Bring your friends, your teammates. Let's go get better. You know, and then just hang out. Chemistry.
So the system is secondary to hard work in your opinion.
Yeah, hard work's number one.
Yep.
If I ever coach,
even at the NFL level.
yeah. Well, yeah, that's the only reason I'm where I am. There's no way that athletically I am in the same category as any of these people in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Not even close. I feel like that when it comes to work, I love work. I love working.
Right.
Manual labor, lifting weights.
Yeah.
I'll do it all the time.
So, I mean, you are actually, do you go to the facility to work out during the off season?
Yes.
Is that,
It's a 30-mile drive every day.
Really?
Yeah, I drive. I live kind of, Nashville's grown so big, so it's like traffic's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
So I live south of the city, but it's a 30-mile hike there and 30 miles back.
Mercy. You got a lot of time to play music or daydream or something.
Oh, yeah. I don't listen to the radio either when I drive, so I just kind of zone out.
But I think you bring up a good point. Number one, even though you said you do have 4 months off, you really don't. I mean, you
That's
can't
true.
you
2
can't
weeks.
sit for 4 months and do nothing. You'd look like
No.
me. And where is that going to get you?
Radio
Right
station.
here. But so I mean, but what you said is true of anything. If you want to succeed in anything, you have to work at it. I mean, there's a few people that'll fall into something accidentally, but they are few and far between. As a general rule, if you want to succeed at something, you got to work at it.
Well, yeah, and that just goes back to, I mean, what everybody, you had to work to get to this point. Everybody here had to work to get to where you are.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just how we were all taught. That's how we were raised, and that's how I would like to continue the next generation.
You bet. Are you paying any attention to the NFL draft, which is in a week and a half or so?
No, because it's in Nashville.
Oh, that's right.
And there's, oh my gosh, there's supposed to be so many people. Luckily, I will not be
I was going to say
in Nashville.
you're going to stay away for a while.
I am actually going on a golf trip to
Good for
Alabama with my punter, Brett Kern, and Suckup was supposed to go, but I think
Very
he's
nice.
got something else. But yeah, I'm staying away. That place is, have you guys ever been to Nashville?
Yes.
I
have.
go there
Yep.
quite a bit, but I'm in and out. So
The traffic, I mean, I've been there, obviously, this is about to start my 8th year, but the traffic since the last 7 years has gotten tremendously worse.
Right.
And I cannot imagine, because so we have the Nashville Marathons that weekend.
Oh, my.
I think Jimmy Buffett is performing
man.
at Bridgestone.
Who
this
planned
is what
this?
we call a
Yeah.
planning mistake.
There's going to be, I don't know if there's the Preds are hockey teams in the playoffs, so I'm sure there'll be a home game in that stretch somewhere in there. It's going to be a nightmare. I don't want to be associated with it.
I can't even imagine.
Right? I understand the 30-minute drive now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Goodness.
And taxis, if you do end up going, the taxis are unreal, and Ubers, and they're all, they upcharge so much.
My goodness.
So when do you guys actually report back? When do you?
Monday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like 2 days ago.
Do you ever think that there could be one play, where it could be the play that everybody remembers forever?
Yes.
Like the laces out type thing?
The one play that I would like would be positive.
Right.
It would be me running down on a punt and stripping the returner and picking it up and running for a touchdown,
I love
and
it.
Tony Gonzalez seeing it on the uprights.
With 2 seconds left to go.
It doesn't matter. It can be the very first punt of the game. I don't
see it
care.
now.
I've had dreams about this.
Yes.
That's my fantasy. And one day I hope it happens, because I might retire after that day, because that would be such an unreal experience. No one's ever heard of a long snapper getting a touchdown off a strip. And I would just, I would be
It's
ecstatic.
possible.
It's very possible.
possible.
Likely, no, but possible. And that's all I need.
Right.
There you go.
So I got to get better on
You know what's going to
going
be
for the
funny?
ball.
Here in about 2 months, well, I guess it'd be more than 2 months. About 6 months from now, we're going to be watching going, he did it.
Yeah.
did it.
Imagine that.
So,
Yeah.
We talked about that, and he did it.
Yeah. Bo called it in the studio. Yep. It happened.
That would be sweet.
Yes. it
That would be
Just-
awesome.
Just please don't do it against the Chiefs. Would
You
you
know
not?
what?
You guys come to
Honestly,
Nashville next year.
I think that's right.
If he
Yeah.
does, he does.
Yep,
I
yep.
don't
Oh,
care.
that'd be awesome.
I don't care.
Yeah.
That would be cool. I think I'm
That would,
not going to jinx it, actually.
no,
Like I said.
no. We won't let that happen.
Okay.
But
Or
we go
something.
there. The Chiefs go there next
Yeah,
year.
we host you guys.
Okay. I didn't
Fun
remember
times.
that, but
Yeah.
I look forward to that one.
Yeah. maybe they'll have a marathon and a half a dozen other events going on at the same time, and who knows?
Going back to the Chiefs, actually, I was with Coach Gray and his son Beau on the way here, and Beau actually reminded me of the 38-10 win we had against the Chiefs NFL opening day. I think that was 2015 or 16. So I just wanted to bring that up too.
Thank you for that.
Appreciate that. Yeah. Okay. Well, it's good to have you here.
You know, if you weren't a Kearney's favorite son, we would, we'd probably say we're done with this show. No, we are so happy to have you in studio today, Beau, and it really is a pleasure to meet you. Thank you so much for. You do want to give by the way, a quick shout out for the event that you're in town for. Want to talk about that, Brian? Do you want to? Is your mic on over there? Do you want to talk about it? Or does
Brian apparently
doesn't want to talk.
All right. Beau, do you want to talk about it? The reason you're here in town?
I'm just happy that I could be a part of the Rise and Shine for Kids organization that Kearney puts on. I'm very fortunate to be in the position that I am to be able to speak about the subject and about, kids growing up in Kearney and having the right necessities and tools to develop and get them to places they would like to go. So I'm just very happy to be able to speak and try to bring some knowledge of my experience growing up in Kearney, and it'll be a good one.
I think it's good for them too. I think it's good for them to see, just because knowing that you're from Kearney shows that anything's possible. Because sometimes we get these guys that, I guess, to use another word, larger than life, but they're not from here. So You're like, well, he's from here and he's from there. But when you have a guy that's actually from here who's made it like you have, it gives them some perspective where they're like, yeah, I could do that. That could happen to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I'll never lose, my Kearney roots. I mean, this place means too much to me. I always come back here, and it makes me feel like a kid again. I don't come back here to really, it's just my getaway. I love being around the people here.
Right.
They've helped mold me to where I am today, and I'm extremely grateful for that. But they also don't look at me as a professional football player. They look at me as Beau, the big, goofy, tall guy.
I will tell you, from the minute you walked in the studio here, you're a regular guy, and we really appreciate having you here. Seriously, you just, for everything you've accomplished and the things that you will continue to accomplish. Humility goes a long way in this world, and we sure appreciate it, and really want to thank you for being on the show today. We've been visiting today with Beau Brinkley. He's the long snapper for the Tennessee Titans, born and raised in Kearney, Missouri.
And I'm a little perplexed, though. Do we say good luck against the Chiefs or not?
No, you just say good luck in general. You don't have to be specific. You brought that up.
Well, I know, but now it's stuck in my head. So now I'm going to have to go look it up. So
we will. Folks, thanks so much for listening to Kearney Live. We'll be back next week with another episode. We'll see you then.